President and accounted for. And if you will, please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to kick off this meeting, I would ask that Director Morgan Rogers and Kathy Cook join Councilwoman Karen Richard and I down front. We're going to recognize a generous donation of one of our corporate residents. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great to have y'all here this evening.
Thank you.
Hello there. Kathy, why don't you do the introduction since you're the one that put all this together?
Well, actually, this started back in 2017. I was just talking to Sarah about it. And we approached, which was previously Amley Residential, and talked about the importance of the Alpha Loop and having the trail through there. It's just such an important connection. Fast forward, we had a lot of attorneys that were looking at
Of course.
Fast forward, at the time it was Pollock Shores that purchased the property, and I was lucky enough to meet with Sarah, and then we were able to get that done. So we're so excited that they have actually dedicated the 10.5 acres that's needed for the main section of the Alpha Loop through North Wales. So thank you.
Thank you.
And like I was telling Sarah, because they dedicated it, instead of an easement, now we can apply for grants.
That's even more awesome.
Yes. Yes.
So Sarah, it's nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Would you share a little bit about yourselves?
Sure. So I'm Sarah Mellinger. I am the Senior Director of Asset Management at Rangewater Real Estate.
And I'm Pamela Duncan. I'm the Senior Community Director for the Avery at North Winds.
Yes. So Rangewater we're over the moon about this. We're so excited. Rangewater Real Estate, its owners, its property management company, thank you for the recognition. We have really enjoyed this partnership, enjoyed meeting with Kathy and her staff, and just happy to be a part of what is one of the many amazing and thoughtful community development decisions and initiatives that's happening in Alpharetta. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. We are blessed with great staff and great leadership in our community. We're also blessed with a great commercial base in a community that reaches out and participates like yourselves, because they know that when you partner with the public sector, the private sector is able to leverage their assets and make all of us come out better. And so it's going to be exciting to see the loop come through there. And I'm sure your residents will very much appreciate it. Would you like to say something?
Oh, I was just saying, we're just all excited about it.
That's
It's
great.
going to be a great amenity for all of us.
I think it will be. We'll look forward to it. So, based on that donation, we wanted to present them with some recognition. So this is a proclamation, basically, that says September 28, 2020, Sarah Mellinger, Senior Director, Rangewater Real Estate, Pam Duncan, Community Director, Avery at North Winds. Dear Pam and Sarah, on behalf of the City of Alpharetta Council, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize and commend you with this citizen recognition letter, as you have embraced and demonstrated the values upon which our city is founded. On July 8, 2020, your organization generously donated 10.8 acres of land to be used as part of the Alpha Loop Greenway System multi-loop paths here in Alpharetta. The Alpha Loop connects people to activity centers, parks, and jobs by a network of multi-use trails that provide safe alternatives to driving and offers recreational benefits to the citizens of Alpharetta. Our City Council, staff, and citizens appreciate you and are proud to have you as part of our community. Respectfully, Jim Gilden, Mayor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll present these to you. Director Rogers, would you like to say a few words? Since it's going to be your baby now.
Yeah, we're certainly excited about it. It's always a good day when we add to our parks inventory here in the city of Alpharetta. But for this particular property is so important to the Alpha Loop, obviously, and then what that Alpha Loop is going to bring to the community. We couldn't be more excited about it here. And at the end of the day, we're talking about quality of life, and we appreciate that donation to improve the quality of life to the citizens of Alpharetta.
Councilwoman Richard?
Thank you. Like you said earlier, Mayor, this has been in the process for over 3 years, and I can't acknowledge our staff. I mean, our staff has just done a phenomenal job. Kathy, Sam, and his staff, not only are they working through, I think the initial agreement was an easement that we were looking to do with the Avery, and then obviously property changed hands, lenders change, legal offices change, and so it's been in the works for a really long time, but this is just, I know, one of many projects that Kathy's been working on to connect our city and to create a really viable loop from an economic standpoint that will just generate a ton of interest for our commercial developers and for our residents as well. So this is one of many that we're going to be doing. So thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Thank you.
So I will present these to you. I believe, has James already taken all the pictures he needed? Okay. Do you mind taking one for them? Set that down.
Now I understand the motions that Councilmember Mitchell was making.
Y'all scoot on in a little bit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And we'll have ribbon cutting for that section. I hope to see you
Oh,
both.
that would be phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold the giant scissors.
Oh, you got it. So the first item up on our agenda this evening will be the consent agenda. And the consent agenda consists of the council meeting minutes from the meeting of September 21st, 2020. Is there anyone who would like to remove anything from the consent agenda? Councilman Burnett.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to remove the Tech Alpharetta agreement renewal from the consent agenda.
All right, sir.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second to remove that from the agenda. We don't need a vote on that, do we? Didn't think so. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't stepping on anybody's toes. So do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes without?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. So we do have a motion to approve the council meeting minutes from the meeting of September 21st, 2020, excluding the agreement with Tech Alpharetta. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. And the motion passes unanimously. Do we have a motion to address the other item?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to offer a motion to reconsider the Tech Alpharetta agreement that was approved last week.
He had mentioned this, that there was a change that he wanted to make sure that we incorporated into the agreement, but we don't have a second yet.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Councilman Burnett to reconsider the agreement with Tech Alpharetta and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell.
You get it.
Thank you. It's not debatable. Thank you for that as well. It's been a long time since I've sat in on a reconsidering. So all those in favor of reconsidering the item, please raise your right hand. It does pass unanimously. Councilman Burnett, did you want someone to present what your change was?
No, sir. The motion that was approved last week was in the amount of $100,000, and to Karen Cashin's credit, she had asked if we could move forward with a $95,000 appropriation to that item. So I would like to offer a motion to approve the Take Alpharetta agreement renewal in the amount of $95,000 in the current fiscal year and authorize the mayor to execute all necessary documents.
Do we have a second on that motion? Have a motion by Councilman Burnett, a second by Councilwoman Richard. And just as a clarification, the director of Tech Alpharetta reached out to me last week and had said she had intended, their board had discussed a reduction in that amount to $95,000, and she simply had not remembered to present that in front of council because the previous documentation was for $100,000. Councilman Burnett had reached out to me over the weekend and asked if he could incorporate that change at this time. So since this is what they originally were going to bring forward and it's not what was presented to us, I think it's just an administrative change. Any other comments from council? Okay. That being said, then, the motion was to approve or amend the agreement with Tech Alpharetta at an amount not to exceed $95,000 for this fiscal year. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. And it does pass unanimously. So the next portion of tonight's agenda was going to be quite lengthy. But for those of you who were hoping for a long meeting tonight, you may be disappointed to hear that actually 3 of the items have been deferred. The first item that was printed on the agenda was PH-20-12 Farmhouse Settlement Historic Designation. That item has been deferred by staff to the Historic Preservation Commission meeting on Thursday, November 12th, 2020. And if forwarded by the Historic Preservation Commission, it will be considered by City Council on December 14th, 2020. Second item that was also deferred was PH-20-10 North Point Mall redevelopment change to conditions of zoning. That item has been deferred by the applicant, and that will be scheduled for Monday, October 26, 2020 City Council meeting. It will neither be heard nor considered at this time. The third item that was deferred was MP-20-03/CU-20-06C3 North Atlanta Church, 5815 Windward Parkway, and this item has been deferred by the applicant and we will neither be heard nor considered at this time. So the only remaining item on tonight's public hearing agenda was item D, CU-20-05 Brightmont Academy /1230 Upper Henry Road. Mr. Woodman, I believe you have the honor.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item before you this evening is a conditional use to allow Brightmont Academy to operate an academic school in a 3,500 square foot suite within an existing office building. Have the location map on the overhead. This property is located at 1230 Upper Hembry Road. It's in Suite 101 in that building, and this is located near the northeast corner of Harris Road and Upper Hembry Road. Property is 1 acre property zoned office professional. It was developed in 1994 as a 2-story, 12,000 square foot office building. Surrounding properties are zoned office professional to the east, which is a medical office building, planned shopping center, and City of Roswell to the south. That's the old Harry's Market or Whole Foods. O&I, Office Institutional, to the west, which is the Spirit of God Church. That was the conditional use that was before you last month or a month before. And then R10 to the north, which is the Creekside at Hembry subdivision. Brightmont Academy, well, here's a street view of the property. And here's a survey or site plan of the property. That's the 2-story, 12,000 square foot office building. The potential user would be Brightmont Academy. They're a fully accredited private school. They offer one-on-one instruction for students in grades 6 through 12. They also offer tutoring for students grades 3 through 12. School's been operating for 20 years. They have 14 campuses in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, and Washington. The Alpharetta location would be their first location in the state of Georgia. Brightmont does not operate like a traditional school. Students arrive and depart at various times throughout the day. They do not offer busing, and their locations do not include cafeterias, gyms, or any outdoor space. Hours of operation are Monday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Fridays, 8:30 to 5. They anticipate 8 to 12 employees. And the location, this particular location would house 11 instructional offices with approximately 17 students at any one time. And then, of course, the applicant states that their other locations are typically found in retail strip centers or in the ground floor of office buildings. At this location, this is the site plan for the office building. They have 61 existing parking spaces. That's a rate of 5.1 per thousand. The UDC requires for an academic school 1 space for every classroom and administrative office, plus 5 spaces for visitors. So this use would require 16 parking spaces, and we believe that there is sufficient parking at this location for the existing and proposed uses. Staff did look at other schools within the city that are similarly situated in commercial and office areas, and we did find that this applicant's proposal appears to be consistent with those locations. This item was shown to the public at the August 12th Community Zoning Information Meeting. There were no public comments. Staff has reviewed the applicant's proposal and finds that the conditional use does not conflict with the established criteria. The school is proposed in an existing office building which has sufficient parking and circulation to serve the use. And the use is consistent with academic and commercial schools in the city that are similarly situated in commercial and office areas. In addition, the applicant has stated that the other tenants in the building do not object to the school occupying the space. This item was considered at the September 3rd Planning Commission meeting. Staff recommended approval subject to 4 conditions. There were no public comments at Planning Commission, and after discussion, Planning Commission recommended unanimous approval subject to staff's recommended conditions. And those Planning Commission is recommending approval subject to the following 4 conditions. 1, school academic shall be added as a conditional use at 1230 Upper Hembry Road, Suite 101, and limited to no more than 11 instructional offices and a total of 3,541 square feet. 2, conditional use approval shall be limited to Brightmont Academy. No additional school academic uses or subleasing shall be permitted within the approved space. 3, the use shall be limited to one-on-one academic school instruction and tutoring. And 4, hours of operation shall be limited to Monday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. And that concludes the presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Councilman Burnett?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Woodman, what is the thought process behind staff's on condition number 4 from making Monday through Thursday 8:30 to 6 and Friday 8:30 to 5? I'm wondering why you penalized them an hour. Thank you.
Those were the hours that were listed in the application. I did see that there was a conflict in the application. I think one place where it showed, I think Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 6, but I believe, and the applicant can clarify, there was another location in the application where it said Friday, 8:30 to 5. So I was just following what I believe the applicant intended for the hours.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Councilman Merkel?
Thank you. You went through the parking numbers, and the one thing I didn't hear was student parking. If this is a 6 through 12, we've got more than instructors. We've got potential for students to drive, right?
Yes, so there are so we have two different parking rates, whether you're elementary and middle versus high school in our code. And so I utilized the first one, the elementary middle. So there are one space per every classroom and administrative office, but there's also 5 spaces for guest parking, and that would be for the students.
So you're going to have a junior and senior mix of drivers? And you think there'll be no more than 5?
Yeah, they'll have a mix of variety from anywhere from 3rd grade all the way through high school.
Well, you
And I
said
think
6th grade through 12th, I thought.
so. The school actually offers one-on-one instructional for 6 through 12, but they also offer tutoring for grades 3 through 12.
I didn't
So
get that.
there'll be a variety of students, some that will drive versus some that will be dropped off by the
So
parents.
I still haven't heard any parking spaces for students driving.
The one per classroom,
As a teacher,
well, I mean,
these things are hard to unwind once they get going, so I just want to make sure you got enough parking over
I
there.
believe that the 16 parking spaces, the rate that we're using, will provide enough parking for the teachers and the students. But let's maybe hear from the applicant with respect to if there's
How many
a
spaces
higher
are over there
rate.
right now?
I'm sorry?
How many spaces are there right now?
There are 61 parking spaces.
61
Yes,
on there just for that building?
just for that building,
You're
yes.
fine then. Your math works. You got plenty left over.
There are quite a few
All right.
parking spaces out there.
Got it. Thank you. That's all I need.
Any other questions from council? Thank you, sir. Would the applicant like to come forward? If you could, please just state your name and your address for the record.
My name is Dwayne Wood, and I'm with RDW Companies, and we were the developer for the owner that redeveloped the building, and we're the asset manager for the project.
Thank you, sir.
Questions?
Typically, people start off with a statement, but
Well, I-
you're certainly welcome to start off with taking questions if you prefer.
I mean, I heard about the time. The application, the first sheet says 8 to 6, and that's Monday through Friday. I sent the recommendation for Planning Commission to the CFO, and it had the Friday 8 to 5, and she said that was fine. The main tenant in this building is the owner of the building, BIS Insurance, which is BIS Properties owns the building. Gentleman's name is Ray Bachman, and he's been in and around Alpharetta for a long time and probably knows a lot of people that are in common with you gentlemen and ladies. Ray is underparked in the facility right now. He has 22 employees, and now with telecommuting, it's even more underparked. We probably on a typical day would see.
Just to clarify, you mean there's more capacity for parking than you need?
I'd say,
You said underparked, and generally in our context, that means there's not enough parking.
the tenants are not using their allocation of parking.
I thought that's what you meant. I just didn't want to have any
sorry.
confusion amongst the council or
I
the
don't do
public
this
on
very
it.
often, so.
I understand. That's why I was trying to help you out and clarify that one, because I thought what you were saying might sound differently to different people.
So the primary tenant, the occupant of 8,000 feet, is the owner, and very compatible. And we've talked to the new tenant that we just put in recently, Thrive, which is next door, and that's an office facility, and they're fine with it. They'll.
Thrive Co-working?
No, it's
Oh,
not
okay.
co-working. It's Thrive Labs. And they have 4 to 5 employees right now, but they're limited to a certain percentage of parking.
That's
according
fine.
to the lease.
Once again, I'm just trying to clarify because we've got Thrive co-working space in downtown Alpharetta that takes up a tremendous amount of parking.
Nope.
And that's a great thing. They're very successful, but I just wanted to make sure I understood.
So when Mr. Bachman bought this property in 2018, it was, had a significant amount of deferred maintenance, which had not been done over the years. It was run down. It was formerly a pediatrician's office, a doctor's office, and had one tenant, a dentist, who was operating and was not paying rent on time. And so we took the building, completely renovated it from top to bottom. Mr. Bachman invested a significant amount of money into it, and we went ahead and built spec suites downstairs, and we're going to make additional improvements to the spec suite downstairs with Brightmont's occupancy. And so we think it's a good investment in the city. And I've said this at the prior two meetings, but formerly it was a pediatrician's office. And so this operation will operate almost no different than a pediatrician's office would, which is kids and parents coming throughout the day.
I've been in that office many times.
Have you? Well, they're going downstairs on the back right, and I'd love for you to go to our website and take pictures. You won't believe. It looks totally different, so.
Does it still have the aquarium?
No. No, it's all gone. And so we think the use is very compatible. On top of that, there's a need for this requirement in the city of Alpharetta. They have, on their initial marketing, they are seeing a tremendous amount of business opportunity here. And what they offer is one-on-one tutoring and one-on-one teaching for students who may struggle in a typical classroom environment and struggle with learning and sitting, all the different things. I'm not an education specialist, but I understand that children sometimes have different ways of learning, and that's what they do, one-on-one with students. Their model is, as Mr. Woodward said, is in Illinois, Arizona. They got 14 locations in probably 5 or 6 different states, and this is their first foray into the Southeast and into Georgia.
Thanks, sir.
We would love to have the approval. We have a landlord who needs a tenant. We have a tenant in an office environment that's quite difficult these days, and they're ready to move in and begin paying rent and serving the community.
Do we have any questions for the applicant from council? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Cobb, do we have any public comment cards on this item?
We do not, sir.
But if anyone here would like to come forward and speak on this matter, now is your chance to do so. Seeing no one, will close public comment. Do I have a motion from council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'll offer a motion to approve CU-20-05 Brightmont Academy /1230 Upper Hembry Road, with the conditions as read by Mr. Woodman, with one slight change on condition number 4. The hours of operation, I'm suggesting my motion to change the hours of operation from Monday through Friday from 8:30 till 6. Make it clean across the board.
Second.
I believe the applicant said 8 a.m.
Clarification?
Look at the application.
I just want to make sure it's consistent.
It's always better to check. I've got the application here. Maybe I can find it faster.
Ours says 8:30.
In the package, it says at 8:30.
It says 8:30 to 6, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
That's on page 2 of our application, is what I was referring to.
Okay.
8:30 a.m. through 6 p.m. Monday
So the motion would be fine for you? On behalf of the property owner, they're fine, just making it 8:30 to 6, 5 days a week? Okay. Thank you. So we do have a motion by Councilwoman Richard to approve with that slight change of 8:30 to 6 on Monday through Friday, and a second by Councilman Burnett. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve, please raise your right hand. And it does pass unanimously. Congratulations, sir. Thank you. So that will wrap up the public hearing item for this evening. And we'll go on to the next portion of tonight's agenda, which is old business. And under old business this evening, we have the consideration of an ordinance for the creation of the City of Alpharetta Cultural Arts Commission. This is the second reading, so there'll be no public comment on this one. And Director Rogers, you have the floor, as Sam stands at the ready to do the reading of the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Council. As this is the second reading, there have been no changes since the first reading. Very glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions from council at this time? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Thomas.
An ordinance to provide for the creation of the City of Alpharetta Cultural Arts Commission, to express the intent of the mayor and council, to provide for definitions, to provide for the organization of the Cultural Arts Commission, to provide for an effective date, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes.
Does anyone from council have a question for Mr. Thomas? If there's no other questions, I'll call for a motion.
Motion to approve the ordinance as read by Sam Thomas.
Second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell, a second by Councilman Merkel. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to approve the consideration of an ordinance for the creation of the City of Alpharetta Cultural Arts Commission, as read by City Attorney Sam Thomas, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, please raise your right hand. And it does pass 6-1. So that'll wrap up the old business portion of tonight's meeting. We'll move on to public comment. So if there's anyone here that has something they would like to bring to the dais and comment on, now's your chance to come forward. Seeing no one, we'll close public comment. Do we have any reports this afternoon?
Just a reminder, Mr. Mayor, that Monday, October 5th is the final day to register to vote to be eligible to vote in the upcoming regular election.
Thank you for the reminder. Well, I'll just say that we had a great ribbon cutting last Friday, unveiling and opening of the Special Needs Park. That was a partnership amongst the City of Alpharetta, Fulton County School System at Alpharetta Elementary School, Northside Hospital, and Resurgence Orthopedics. And it really was, in these days when so many challenges are presented us, and it's easy to not look for the brightness, and there is brightness in this community, and it continues to thrive and to improve and partner together with the public sector and the private sector. And it's nice to be able to celebrate that, because now there are children who were not able to enjoy that park who will be able to enjoy that park, and families in those areas that can now walk to a park and enjoy that facility. It was really heartwarming to see, and I appreciate the support of all of council. Of course, a tremendous effort by Director Rogers, who persevered for 3 years to come up with the partners, because quite frankly, it was a difficult challenge for the council to be able to lift the cost of doing that by ourselves. And fortunately, Northside and Resurgence were willing to step up and support this community. So just wanted to share that, because it is nice to see good things happening in this community every day. If there's no other reports, we'll go ahead and close reports. And unfortunately, I have to ask that we adjourn into executive session this evening. So could I call for a motion?
Motion to approve going to executive session, Mr. Mayor. Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Merkel, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell to adjourn into executive session. All those in favor of adjourning into executive session, please raise your right hand. And it does pass unanimously. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate your attendance and look forward to seeing you again soon.